just a little over 3 years now. We're located right on Route 51 on the corner of Weaver Road and 51. The landmarks we're just north of Buffalo Wild Wings, just south of Menards on the same west side of the road there. We've served 48 counties in the state of Illinois. Not many people know that we kind of have that broad range that we have served. And so we do obviously human cremation. We are a licensed funeral home in the eyes of the state and federal government, so we can do a full-fledged service. It's not really what our business model is, but we do have the capability of doing that. Mm-hmm. And then in August, we also now do animal cremations as well. So that's become a big part of our business. And so that's kind of a Cliff Notes version of what we do.
Sure.
So.
Well, let's talk cremation, because this seems to be really a growing trend in the world right now. So tell us about that a little bit.
Yeah. So in 2010, 2012, cremation rate nationally was only about 20%. Now it sits at about 65, 70% here in the United States, but that's also the same percentage in Illinois as well. Mm-hmm. There's certain states like Maine where the cremation rate is 85%, and the lowest rate in any state in the U.S. is Mississippi, because you're kind of in the Bible Belt there, and it's 55%.
Right.
Every state is over 50% at this point.
Wow. They
project that by 2030, the cremation rate nationally as well as in Illinois will be 80%.
Oh, wow.
Wow. So, and I absolutely see that on the rise. The reason for that is the cost is so much less. Mm-hmm. But the second biggest reason is that families are spread out more so now than ever before, really. Mm-hmm. Kids, grandkids are all over the place. Mm-hmm. So cremation gives people an opportunity to memorialize, to honor their loved one when it's best for everybody, rather than a traditional funeral where you got to get kids out of school, you got to take time off work, you got to fly in, drive in, whatever it is. So that's the second biggest reason. But so the cremation rate is just on a dramatic rise, and it's never going to go the other way, honestly.
Right. Well, and I know for a lot of folks, you talked about that Bible Belt rate, right? I know that religious component for folks is somewhat of a hang up. Do you encounter that, and how do you speak to families that may be in that circumstance where they've got that hang up for religious reasons?
So we just talk to them about kind of what their specific religion kind of dictates. What are kind of the rules per se,
right.
As to what will be allowed, and then if there is a priest or pastor or whatever the case involved, then we'll kind of have them speak with them as well and say, hey, this is perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with this in terms of our religion and so on and so forth. So we just kind of discuss it with them and just go over the options and see what kind of best fits their needs.
Yeah, we had to have that conversation when my dad passed. That was it was difficult, but it was reassuring. And those folks are knowledgeable and they know what they're talking about. So
absolutely,
very good, very good. Well, Tom, how do folks come to you then? I mean, is it referrals? How have folks been finding out about your business?
Yeah, so a lot of it is what you said. It's kind of referrals, but we work with virtually every hospice agency in Central Illinois. So that's how we get a lot of it. We have good relationships with all the local hospitals, but a lot of it, truthfully, is just the marketing that we've done. Mm-hmm. We do a lot of educational seminars, whether it's myself or Brett, who's my PR director. So we don't do any selling seminars. We don't go and sell anything to anybody. We just literally educate groups of people, and we love doing that. We love getting in front of, whether it's the fraternal organizations, men's or ladies groups that meet in the morning or over lunch or whatever, and we just will talk to them and answer questions. And sometimes they'll have an hour's worth of questions that we just kind of sit there and answer, and we love doing that. We love getting in front of the communities and just educating people as to what we do, because there's always a lot of questions with what we do, but a lot of people are kind of afraid or nervous to ask those questions because they want to be respectful and so on and so forth. So we kind of just kind of calm the room down a little bit and say, hey, nothing's off the
limits.
Table here.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing's off limits. Just be comfortable and let's just have fun educating one another.
Right. Well, I feel like I could keep asking silly questions, so I'll throw it to you. What's the most common question you get?
Boy, we get a lot. one that we get is how long does the process take? How in terms of like the cremation, how long does the actual cremation take?
How long does it take?
So typically in our retort, it's about 100 pounds per 1 to 1.5 hours.
Okay.
So it's a pretty quick process, really.
Oh,
when it comes down to it.
Okay.
The other question we get a lot is, once you have our loved one, when can we expect everything to be completed? And usually we say, within 7 to 10 days, somewhere in there. But there are some factors that kind of play into that in terms of doctors signing off on death certificate, coroners involved, sometimes the county clerk, having to register things and so on. So there are factors in there that can slow things down. Typically 7 to 10 days is what we're looking like. So it's not a long drawn out process by any means. So yeah, those are kind of the two most popular kind of questions we get, and then some off the wall ones about different things that we've seen.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I bet they range. I bet they range.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Tom Cantwell, Central Cremation Services in Forsyth, our guest in studio here for this morning. You talked about that upward trajectory of people utilizing cremation. You've seen that firsthand the last 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, so we this time of year, for whatever reason, there's always just a lot more passings occur in this time of year. In our industry, you can't really obviously measure anything. Things just happen. There's no quantitative data for us to look at really and say, oh, this is going to be a busy month. Although this time of year, though, you kind of know that it's going to be a little bit busier. So since December, we had 60 people that were in our care. We had 50 in the month of January. This month, we're already at 21 or 22 for February, and here we are on the 11th. So we're very blessed to be able to serve a lot of people. But, we've already served, this year, we're pushing 100 at this point, and we're already about 150 since December 1. Yeah. And in 2024, we had 500, close to 500 individuals that we cared for. Wow. So, again, we're very blessed to be in the position that we're in to help out so many people and to do it in a cost-effective way. To where they don't have to take out loans and break the bank and so on and so forth. So.
Yeah. Do you mind speaking to, using words like blessed to serve, things like that? Speak to the compassionate side of this process. I mean, you have to be a very compassionate individual to get into this thing. Do you mind speaking to that a little bit?
Yeah, so this is a delicate time for anybody that comes into our building. So we just,
you're like the police. You see people at their worst.
Yeah, a lot of the time, and I always joke. I'm like, nobody ever wants to see me, right? And I don't take offense to that. That's okay. But we just try to be as genuine as possible, not disingenuous, not over the top with, and go in for hugs and all that. We just try to be human beings, to these people that have lost a loved one that maybe are going through the most difficult time arguably in their life, whether that's, with their human family member that's passed or sometimes with their pet. So whether it is pet or family member, human family member, we will just be compassionate in everything that we do. And just our big line is, we're a continued resource for the family.
Yeah.
So whether 6 months from now they have a question, it doesn't matter. Call us. There's no stupid questions during this time.
Right.
So, please use us as a resource is what we always say. We're here for you at any time.
Right. Well, and as folks make perhaps those end of life plans, they can call for inquiries and stuff. I want to go back to, you mentioned the 45 counties that you serve. Our listening area is vast. There may be someone listening 60 minutes from Forsyth this morning. You mentioned just how much area you serve. Speak more to that and what that looks like.
Yeah, so we're not like your traditional brick and mortar funeral home to where you kind of serve that county that you're in, that community that you're in, and then a little bit outside of that. So when we got going, I said, well, we're going to be on the road a lot, and that's okay. But that comes with all the hospice groups that we serve because they serve broad areas as well.
Yeah.
And as we kind of got going, it went from 5, 6, 7, 8 counties to 15 to 20 to 25 and beyond. And I said, well, that's fine. We can do that. We have partners around that we can work with if need be. But it just, all of a sudden you kind of look at the map and you're like, man, we've served 25, 30, 35, 40 counties at this point.
That's half of Illinois at that point.
Yeah. We've served almost half of Illinois. We've also gone into St. Louis. We've gone into Indiana. We've gone actually up to Chicagoland. Don't really want to do that a whole lot, but we will if the need arises. So it we're just there for them wherever the situation is, wherever the problem is, or wherever the passing occurs, or whatever it is. We will work with the family, and we're going to figure out the best way to honor their loved one.
Is your only location Forsyth then?
Everything happens in Forsyth, oddly enough. And when we talk with people, they are shocked at not only the area that we cover and that we have served, but all that we do, not only just with human, but with pet cremation, with anatomical gift, body donation, that sort of thing for science. So there's just there's a lot that goes on in our building.
That little building there, man.
Yeah. There's a lot that goes on there, and people don't really realize it. But like I said, we're very, very blessed and in a great position to keep growing and keep moving.
Wow, amazing stuff. Tom, how do folks learn more, by the way, about Central Cremation Services?
Yeah, so we're at 110 West Weaver in Forsyth, 217-859-8100. Of course, also go to centralcremationcenter.com. We're on Facebook as well, LinkedIn, so on.
It's got to be tough to have a social media account at points, right? But
no.
Anyways, Tom, let's break here, my friend. Come back with some more. Tom Cantwell, Central Cremation Services, our guest in studio. More to come on The Morning Show.
WHOW. Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. Again, Tom Cantwell, Central Cremation Services in Forsyth, our guest in studio for today. And Tom, we talked about the explosion of cremation services for humans, but also you've seen a spike as you introduced pet cremation. Speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, so since August, we've been Central Cremation Center Pet Services as well. And so we have a whole separate, machine and process for our pets. By federal law, you have to have that. And, we have been, again, blessed in that sense as well, to where we have, couple vet clinics in the area that we do their cremations for when they have to, unfortunately put down, a family's pet. And then we have, individuals that bring their animals to us that maybe have passed in the home and so on and so forth. And I'd say we've already done probably 250 to 300 pets since August.
Wow.
And, so it's just another way to kind of serve the community and communities around. And it's been busy with that as well, but it's going well.
Yeah. Okay. So I've got to ask this, having experience with both of these things now in the last year, what's like when someone comes to you, do you have an outline for, okay, we can, like when my dad passed, we had to pick an urn for him, right?
Sure.
Do you go through that process? And like same thing with the pets. Is it look pretty similar for people to pets, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean pets is in terms of the time, it's a fraction of the time
Yeah,
in terms
sure,
of the arrangements,
sure.
but
Right.
similar-ish process. For the human side, when we have our arrangement conference, we go over the paperwork, we take all the vital statistics for the death certificate. And then if they are needing some sort of vessel, an urn or something like that, then, we'll have that discussion with them.
Okay.
Same thing with the pet. It's one sheet instead of multiple sheets,
I see.
that we
sure.
need. And then we'll see. We'll ask them, or how are you wanting to memorialize? Are you just wanting the cremated remains back and what we will give you, which is like a paw print type, little urn, or are you wanting something a little bit better, which we have, which we do have available for sale. So we just ask them kind of what their thoughts are and walk them through that process as well.
Sure. So with pet cremation services, like anything unique about that, whether that process or the questions you get about that process, anything that stands out there?
The big thing we get with that is are we going to get our pet back? Mm-hmm. And I always say yes. We only do private cremations for our animals, so
what's that mean?
So one animal at a time. So if your dog would pass away, your dog is in the retort by itself.
Okay.
Therefore, you get your dog's cremated remains back. You don't get a mix of other animals that we throw in together. We only do private pet cremations, and that provides a lot of peace of mind for people because they're pets of their family. Mm-hmm. I've lost a pet in college, and until I lost my parents, I hadn't cried as much until that point. I remember it was actually Valentine's Day in 08 or 09.
Oh,
and I was walking. It was a gloomy, cloudy day, and I had sunglasses on like it was a bright, sunny day because I was covering the tears in my eyes.
I feel you, dude. I feel you. It's the worst.
When I had to put our dog down.
Oh, so it's the worst.
Yeah, it was a bad day. But regardless, we only do animal at a time that that you are getting back your dog, your cat, whatever the animal might be, which provides, like I said, a lot of peace of mind for folks.
I see. Very good. Tom, in terms of just your business itself, anything else to talk about this morning? Things are going well, it really sounds like. So.
Yeah, I just want to, anybody that's listening and beyond, I just want to thank the communities that we've served. We've been, whenever you start a new business from nothing, there's a lot of anxiety there. Clearly, there's that fear of the unknown, and we have been very blessed. Again, not to beat that phrase too much, but to where we have been able to serve a lot of people. So I want to thank the communities around within Central Illinois and beyond that we have served, that have welcomed us, and it's been an honor to continue to care for as many people as we have in this area. So again, if there's questions, do not hesitate to reach out. Even just question about anything, if you're not even using our service, please, don't hesitate to reach out with anything that's needed. And we're always, again, a resource for everyone.
Yeah.
So.
Do you find, I think of someone that is expecting a loved one to pass, right? They're making those end of life arrangements.
Yep.
How much can you get done ahead of time that maybe, I don't want to say expedites the process, but just helps things along maybe a little quicker than, an unexpected passing?
Yeah, so we have we do a lot of what we call kind of terminal pre-arrangements. It's somebody that maybe is on hospice, and they're whether it's going to be the passing will be that week or within a month or whatever. But sometimes, a lot of times, actually, the family members will just want to get all the paperwork and everything done. Sometimes they'll pay for it ahead of time. Other times they'll wait till after the fact.
Yeah.
There's no wrong or right. It really just comes down to whatever the
handle
family wants to do. And we always tell them that on the phone. We say, if you want to do it ahead of time, awesome. If you want to wait till after the fact, awesome. It really is whatever is best for you all. Because some people are like, I just want to get it done and over with and do it now. Or no, I'd rather let's just wait and do it after the fact. And we say, It's whatever you want to do.
Sure. Tom, best way for folks to learn about Central Cremation Services?
You can go to our website, centralcremationcenter.com. Also can search that on Facebook. Give us a call, 217-859-8100. And we're right on the corner of Weaver and 51 in Forsyth.
Tom, good to see you again. Thanks.
You too, man. Thanks a lot.
Tom Cantwell, Central Cremation Services, our guest in studio this morning. The morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube. Brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. Of course, we're live online all the time at DeWittDailyNews.com. Network News comes your way now.